Hello, heroes. Joe Smith here again. Happy afternoon. Nice and warm here. Really warm. Um, just stay out here chilling. Got some orange juice and Sprite and something else mixed up there. Just sipping on it, looking at the pretty flowers. Doing some thinking here, and been reading comments on the YouTubes, on the interwebs. Um, and whatnot, and guessing a lot of these people making these comments are like maybe 12 or something, or teenagers. Kind of sounds like it, but there, of course, there's a whole need $15 hour minimum wage because $7 an hour is not enough to live on, and here's a little government study like a year or two determined that in at least half the country, uh, cost of living was low enough that a person could actually live off of less than $8 an hour or $7.50 an hour or something like that, and eat enough to stay alive. But when these people talk about living, they're not talking about just eating enough to stay alive. They're talking about living like getting high on weed and getting drunk every night and smoking a couple packs of smokes a day and going through a can of dip a day and buying a TV every month and buying a bunch of video games and going out and partying and eating out and all this other stuff. It's like and buying Prada purses and Nike shoes, and it's like that's what they're talking about when they talk about living. Go to half the countries in the world and see what people live on or live off of or how they live. Don't think people here live well enough. Nice little butterfly there. But they're complaining that uh, even though the minimum wage has gone up, or well, it's gone up a few times, but it's now like 20 years ago or 25 years ago, it's like 4 something an hour. And now most states have like what about $10 to $12 an hour minimum wage, and some even have $15 an hour minimum wage. So it's like, why do we need to give a damn about the federal minimum wage? Because all the states already have higher minimum wages, and everyone goes by the state's minimum wage. Who's actually making the federal $7.25 an hour, whatever it is, minimum wage? Please post below. If you know someone, post their name and what they do for $7.25 an hour. Or if you're someone that makes a federal minimum wage, post below what you do, what state you're in. And that's saying, there's probably nobody out there making less than $10 an hour, so who cares what the federal minimum wage is, because absolutely nobody in the country goes by it anymore. It's just another way for the Democrats to stir the pot and get all the retards all out rioting again. And those of you that are only making minimum wage that think you're worth more, well, go do a job that's worth more. Go do a job that's worth what you are. But these people are complaining that, oh yeah, they're making $15 an hour now, but they're having to do 3 jobs. They're having to put the burger on the bun, then they have to put the pickle on the bun, and then they have to wrap it in a wrapper and hand it up to the counter. Like McDonald's should hire 3 different people to do all that stuff. Or like at Subway, it's like, well, we got to put the meat on the bun, then we got to put the cheese on the bun, and then we got to put the lettuce on the bun, then we got to put the tomato on the bun, then we got to put the pickle on the bun, and then we got to put the mustard on the bun, and then we got to wrap it up, and then we got to ring up the order, and then before we go home, we got to wipe all the tables and counters off and sweep the floor. They're like, that's the job of 20 people. Not if you only have 50 customers a day. You can't hire someone to come in 1 hour a night to wipe the tables and sweep. Oh wait, they probably say that's 2 jobs, so you have to have 2 people come in, 1 to wipe the table, 1 to sweep, and they'd each only work 30 minutes a night. Who's going to take a job, $15 hour minimum wage, but you only get 30 minutes a night, 5 or 7 nights a week or whatever? Who's going to take a job like that? Then people are going to complain, well, I gotta work 10 jobs because I only get a half an hour at each job. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. You're getting the pay of 3 or 4 people. That'd be nice if had one person putting the hamburger on the bun, and one person putting the ketchup on, one person putting the pickle on, and one person wrapping it. If you're selling like 20 or 30 cheeseburgers an hour, or hamburgers an hour, or whatever. You're getting paid to work, not getting paid to stand and wait for the next customer. It's like, well, you're waiting for the next customer. Why can't you pick up a rag and wipe some stuff off? It's just part of the job description, the different tasks of the job. It's not different jobs, it's different tasks of the job. You can't hire someone to come in for 5 minutes once a night to take the trash out. Nobody's going to take that job. And no one's going to pay them to be there 8 hours a day to just take the trash out the last 5 minutes before they go home and sit there the rest of the day doing absolutely nothing. And those of you complaining, you're more than welcome. Go start your own restaurant or franchise or whatever and hire 150 people at $15 an hour minimum wage. But none of them will, because then they'll be working for free, and not only working for free, but they'll be paying to work. And that's like business owners, all this money growing on trees around their house. And you just go pick money off you. Hire all these people to do everything. That's kind of the problem we had here in the past few years with mowing business. People are like, well, you have one person drive, one person sharpen blades, one person pass out flyers, one person mow, one person weed eat, one person edge, one person blow off, one person for refueling the equipment, and one person to be the water boy to get water for everyone else. It's like, okay, but customers are paying $25 a yard. $1 of that goes to credit card fees. Third is allocated for payroll. So that's $8 a yard. A person can mow a yard by themselves and 15 to 20 or 25 minutes. So that's $15 to $16 an hour they're making all day long. Doing it all by themselves. And that's actually paying someone else to pass out flyers and paying someone else to sharpen blades. Or if they wanted to do that role, then they got an extra $3 a yard. Passing out flyers is just like 2 weeks in February, when they would otherwise be staying home. And it's like, you want to sit at home for no pay in 2 weeks in February? Or you want to get an extra $4 an hour 10 months out of the year? Joe Smith's buddy actually paid 2 people $10,000 for 1 month to pass out flyers each. 1 year. Two guys each got $2,500 a week, $500 a day to pass out flyers. While everyone else sat home for no pay. Because all the employees said it was someone else's job, someone else's paycheck. Well, a couple of the employees could have had extra $10,000, or could have had health insurance, and life insurance, and retirement. Paid vacation with that money. Or 4 people could have done the job and had it done in 2 weeks instead of 4. Instead of 2 guys, 4 weeks. Could have been 4 guys, 2 weeks. 4 people could work 2 weeks for an extra $5,000 that year. But they said someone else's pay, someone else's job. And then they quit because they weren't making enough money, they claimed. You know, Joe Smith's buddies telling everyone that they retired because they made too much money. They didn't need any more. You know, Joe Smith here thinks Buddy Brian's right, that they made too much money and just didn't need any more. Otherwise, they would have been out there passing out the flyers for $2,500 a week or $500 a day, instead of paying someone else to do it for them. Because ultimately the money was guaranteed to them, and they ordered Brian to pay someone else to do it. So they took their money from their paycheck and paid someone else to do it for them. So they quit their business because they weren't making enough money. Well, that's their fault. They should have passed out flyers themselves instead of hiring a third party to do it for $500 a day. You know, these people, they advertise that they want to do the bare minimum, then they complain that they get paid the bare minimum. They advertise they want to be a factory robot doing only one thing and one thing only over and over all day, and then they complain. Years ago, when Joe Smith first moved down here to Arkansas, one of his neighbors had just recently started a restaurant, and Joe Smith was working nights at the neighbor's restaurant, helping him out. So uh, just kind of started out with Joe Smith and hanging out with neighbor, and on the weekends having some beer and whatnot, and chit chatting, and like after work or whatever. And then the neighbor guy is like, "Man, I could really use a guy like you. You seem like a hard worker, like a badass hard worker guy at my restaurant for that, but uh, afraid that whatever I'm able to pay you or offer you, you probably say no to it." And Joe Smith's like, "Well, I could really use some extra money, and you're a cool guy. I wouldn't mind letting you a hand, helping you out, and maybe learn some new things." And so he offered Joe Smith here like $7 an hour plus uh, free supper every night. That way Joe Smith could go straight there from the other job and didn't have to go home to or get something to eat or whatever. I could just kind of throw something on the cooktop or fryer or whatever there real quick and eat while getting everything ready for the supper rush. So that was really cool of him. And, it was like really fun. It's one of the best jobs ever, even though it was just like $7 an hour and free supper. It was like one of the coolest, funnest, best jobs ever, and worked with some cool people. Some hardworking waiters, some really, really great people. And after a couple weeks, I got to where Joe Smith here had learned enough to where he was doing all the cooking. Joe Smith here was doing all the cooking, and the owner didn't even have to be there unless it was like a Friday or Saturday when we were super busy. That he would help cook, and the wife would help cook too. His wife would help cook too, because we're super rushed. But otherwise, the rest of the week, every night, Joe Smith was just kind of running the kitchen alone, doing all the cooking. In between, or when it started slowing down after the supper rush, would start running dishes through the dishwasher, or wiping things off in the kitchen, or cleaning the kitchen, and then owner taught Joe Smith here how to change the oil in the fryer, or how to run it through the screener, cleaner thing, whatever, and how to do this other stuff, and Joe Smith would offer to stay after hours to help clean the kitchen and that, and the owner dude would be like, "Oh, you worked hard. You're probably tired after your other job, and then working here all night, and you can go on home." And Joe Smith here is like, "No, I want to stay and want to help you, or that you're been a great friend, and just want to stay here and help you and learn this stuff, because maybe Joe Smith here wants to start his own restaurant someday or something." I kind of seemed like a cool idea at the time, or had a lot of fun there. And the waiters would wait the tables, take the orders. They made all the salads. They got all the drinks. They would bust their own tables and bring it back to the take the trays or tubs, whatever, of the dirty dishes back to the back washroom in the back corner of the kitchen, or Joe Smith to run through the dishwasher then in between. And they would wipe off the tables. At the end of the night, they would vacuum and clean everything in the dining area while Joe Smith was cleaning the kitchen. They'd take care of the registers. After it started slowing down, they would start rolling silverware in the napkins, like restaurants do. And everyone showed up on time. We were all like great friends. We didn't like hang out after work, like after work friends, but we're all like friends with each other, or great co-workers at work. Uh, We all got along. The waiters are like, oh, thank you, Joe Smith, for doing such an awesome job cooking and getting the orders right. And they're like, we've worked at places before where the cooks kept screwing up the orders, and then the customers complained, and then we got shitty tips or didn't get any tips at all. And you're like, man, when you're here working, we get awesome tips and great tips. We're getting like $5, $10 tips here, and sometimes $20 tips even from the table. And they're like, thanks for being on top of things. Thanks for getting every order right. Thanks for getting stuff cooked fast and on time. They're always telling Joe Smith here, and Joe Smith's always telling him, yeah, thanks for getting back here and getting the food when it's like fresh hot off the grill instead of leaving it under the heat lamp for 5 or 10 minutes or that. So it's like, because we worked together, we all made more money together and that. And some of them even shared their tips, gave Joe Smith here couple bucks or a few bucks here there when they got like a really big tip from the table. So that was nice of them. But you know, they didn't complain that they're doing different tasks. It's all part of the job, all part of the job description. And they didn't say it's like, well, you need someone else to bust the table. You need someone else to roll the silverware and napkins. You need someone else to run the register. Because back then, we all knew that more people involved meant the money got split more ways. And we liked getting paid what we got paid at the time. I mean, for what we got paid at the time. And we all enjoyed working together. But man, kids, teens, whatever nowadays, just don't get it there. It's like you got wonder, it's like, do they demand payment for getting out of bed and changing their underwear in the morning before they went to school? Or did they go on strike when their parents refused to pay them to change their underwear and wear the same dirty underwear for a month straight? I don't know, sorry to bother you with this crap or whatever, just I'm reminiscing on the good old days here this weekend. Wish things were like they used to be. And just think, our parents used to call us lazy and stupid and worthless, and it's like, fuck. Wish our parents would meet today's crop. Joe Smith's dad used to call him dumber than the light pole out front. Just about every night. Too bad he's not around to see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders and all these kids nowadays. Maybe he actually apologized to Joe Smith for those comments. Joe Smith saw you out.